Hey Virgo, welcome to your September reading. The lighting in here is really terrible at the moment. It's a bit cloudy. I have a lamp on, so ignore that. Also, the cats keep knocking the video. In my whole entire Taurus video, the cats are like moving the camera and there was a butt and a leg in the way, so be wary that you may have some little friends visiting on the screen, but I'll do my best to do your reading around it. So I'm using the Sacred Forest Oracle. They are a new deck for me, so it's new for me as it could be for you. But obviously I like to read intuitively anyway. Interesting. So we'll see what the cards give to me, but I'm loving them so far. So how I'm doing the readings this month, obviously again, how I work if you follow me is I just go with what feels right. And as I was shuffling for my very first video, which was Capricorn, you need that one, and then that one, it was sort of telling me I do 4 columns and then 2, so this is what's happening, and it feels like, so we have the keywords at the top like I always tend to do, then we have a column, it's kind of like where we're at, and then the one below it is kind of like where we want to be, where we're going, that kind of vibe. So I'm loving how it's flowing for the other signs. Let's see how it flows through for you, I guess. Okay, no, that one, and then that one. Okay, so your cards are really sort of saying, hey, pick me, which I love when that happens. It means, you know, there's some very direct guidance, sort of wanting to be heard. Loving your first card, so I'll show you. You have Fire Spirit, Energy. So this is a very passionate time for you, is what I'm seeing immediately. Look at the imagery on the back of these. The lighting's terrible, so I'm sorry if you can't see it, but I've just noticed there's unicorns, or Pegasus even. Okay, so I feel like you're in a very passionate time. You are very driven. This can be a very high emotional time for you, so be wary that you may be making rash decisions based on your emotions, because it feels like you can be almost, even though I get this, the main feel I'm getting from this card is kind of passion, drive, which is the kind of heat energy that we want from it. But I also kind of, that comes with that, it can be quick, rash decisions and jumping into things. So be conscious of your energy is what I want to say. Totally makes sense with what we have down here as well, but we will get to that. You are in control here, and I feel like this is you taking control. I'm getting this sense of you feeling perhaps sick of not having enough control, or fed up of something along the lines of that's needing you to take over. I feel like it's like saying, hey, right, it's not working, doing it my way. Like you're just ready to just off you trot. That kind of energy. Loving that vibe. But be wary that, is it impulsive? Is it reckless? Be conscious of yourself. Because in fire energy, we can really be quick to action, which can be great to get things rolling. And I'm feeling that this can be a really, really great time, when channeled correctly, that you're getting things moving and very, very quickly. However, conscious that you're not just making rash decisions, right? But you are powerful right now. You are making things happen. Our first card is Knight of Swords, and again, this is just cutting through. Like what this card gives me in this deck every single time I see it, it's like cutting through things, and taking control. All of these birds, he's soaring through with his sword, right? Night energy, typically to me, I do read kind of tarot my own way. I have always been like that. I feel like the cards tell me what I need to say, not what they are typically supposed to say. So take my guidance as it comes through. I feel like you should, you know, whatever reader you go to, it's channeling through them in the way they need to see it. And if you're watching them, if you're into them, it's what you need to hear, right? Anyway, sorry about that, sidetracking. He's cutting through. The night energy to me is taking charge again and control. I feel like that's what you're doing. Is being the one that is going to be your night, actually, as I'm looking at this more now. I feel like, again, you are taking control for yourself. And perhaps there's been lack of control and listening perhaps you listen to too many ears. I am getting, in this imagery, there's crows. This can represent lots of things, but it's kind of like too many crows in your ears is how I'm saying it. I don't know if that's even a saying. Sometimes something comes through me, I don't know what or where it's come from. But it's like there's too many crows. So people crowing at you, gossip, noise, opinions, decision, people putting on you. You're now ready to cut through that, and that is that fire energy I'm feeling right now. You're like, off the trot, go, shoo, me, now, I need to know. And in a way, it can be that you realize that you need to separate yourself from that. You need to cut through that. Because it very much feels like self-directed during all of this. So where you want to be, where you're going with this, it's that Queen of Wands, okay? Wanting to be on top of things, wanting to do things for yourself. I feel like you actually desire to be on top, be self-made, and I feel like you really are owning this fire energy, Virgo. And as an earth sign, when we take over with this fire energy, there is no stopping us. And I feel like that's what it is. Like, as an earth sign, if you've got to the point of fiery, you are driven. Like, as a Taurus, how I would say is the bull's taken over and there's no stopping you. This is what I'm seeing for you, Virgo. And I want you to be aware, though, again, of your quitting. I do feel like you need to realize that some people around you are supportive, and that I feel like you can't do everything alone. So when we are on this driven, like, I can do it all myself, I'm self-made, you really can squash the people around you who are your supporters, who are there to help you. And I feel like sometimes that can mean you kind of get in a mindset of not feeling you don't need anyone. That is not constructive. Humans need people. We need people, right? But it's knowing the right people to kind of trust, to fall into. I feel like this is your journey now. I feel like because you are in that kind of cutting off energy. And Virgo, I feel like that is you all over. Like, this is your superpower, is that you really can cut off people who you see as not worthy anymore. That's not quite right, because it makes it seem like you're a bitch, and you're not that. It's more as in, like, I'm not ready, I don't want that drama. However, when we're doing that, like, this is something that I have done myself as well over my years, with my self-isolation, is pushed away the few people that maybe will support you. That is not productive. Getting rid of the people who are going to bring you down, productive, right? But actually just pushing away those people who are your supporters, who might have olive branches towards your goals. If you think that you can do it all your own, you're left with kind of your reality being in the clouds. Because I feel like, again, we need people in order to reach our inner desires, because let's face it, when we think of what do we truly want, so sometimes these are career aspirations, these are love aspirations, family aspirations. All of these need people in them. You can't get there without somebody else. Even if it's fame and fortune, you need all of your fans. You need support of the right people to get you there, right? Conscious of that. And I think that's this energy here where I'm saying, hey, passion, drive, you've got this, you're all about, let's go. But make sure you are being humble within that. Yeah, for sure. Okay, toadstools. Taurus had this as well, and I love it when it kind of flows through with the earth signs. We all have similar vibes. You've got growth right now. You are growing. I do feel like, again, you allow the opinions of others. I'm going to say that during this time of what's got you where you are, you allow yourself to wear the opinions of others. That's shaping who you are, where you're going, and you're wearing it like a crown. And Virgo, I know that for like the past year I've been saying to you about being in a victim mindset. This to me is that similar vibe. And I feel like it's because your way of owning it, this is how it's coming through for me. Your way of owning it is by wearing it as a crown. Like, hey, all the bad things I've been through, it's made me who I am. That is great to an extent. However, sometimes when we wear our wounds so openly, we shine light on them, and that's what we wear as an armor. this is still a theme for you guys, and I do feel like this is part of your growth and your journey, is discovering that about yourself. You've had some really great highs over the last few months. I remember seeing like a really good, doing a really good reading for a month. And this is for all of us, we're up and down. But I remember some really, really great highs for you. And I feel like this is it. You are reaching those moments where you do have insight to what life could be like. And this is what 2022 is doing to us. It's giving us insights. But then it brings us back down to earth with the nitty-gritty tower card, bringing us to the foundations, where we're like, what? Maybe it's not real. Maybe it is all in my head. No, like there's a balance. There's an in-between, right? What this year's doing is showing us our highs. It's showing us our lows and telling us what we need to do to make it. We just need to listen. Being in a victim mindset will get you not listening. You will think that you're right and you'll be in that toxic side of the fire energy. Discovering this about yourself, acknowledging, opening up is going to bloom you. You are a toadstool. You can grow out of darkness. The Taurus had this same kind of feel, like you can really bloom from nothing. You've got this. You know it. It's deep in your soul. Even though when you hit your bottom, you don't let yourself go too far, Virgo, because you know that you can grow something really beautiful from nothing, right? But you need to drop that armor. You have room to grow still, to let go of the toxic growth that has kind of attached to you. That's not who you are, but it is what you're showing people you are. Yes. Strength. That's exactly what I've been saying. So the strength card really can be, it's showing our vulnerabilities. And I feel like you shield yourself. You are this protecting witch that's shielding the vulnerability and does not want to show this. This is where you're at the moment. The vulnerabilities are there, and this is everybody's vulnerabilities are your strengths. In society, we have kind of created a world where we kind of put ourselves on the same scale as like predator and prey, where, you know, survival of the fittest. Now, if you actually look at the animal kingdom, it's not always the strongest animal that survives. It's sometimes the smart ones, those little tiny critters that are still alive today and not extinct despite being on the very top of the food chain, or very bottom of the food chain even. They're still surviving because they are smart, they're quirky, right? And nature shows us this all the time. In the toadstool grows from nothing. You have that ability too. You have ability to spark something into creation from the darkness that comes in your life. And this is where I feel like you are to and fro here. It does feel very much like you're on this verge. And it feels exciting. It's like being humble in this journey is a very great thing, because I feel like if you just put your armor on through this journey, your growth is just going to take all that much longer to get to the more positive aspect, is what I want to say. Now, we always in our whole entire lives are going to have ups and downs. There is no fairy tale, this is what happened, right? All the greatest stories end at a midpoint because they know that there's going to be another story coming along, right? She marries the prince. We don't know what happens to her. She's gonna become a mom. She's gonna go through that identity crisis that all moms go through, you know. But you don't hear that story. It's a different story. It's after her happy moments, you know. She has more happy moments ahead of her, and I think this is something, again, a realization. I feel like that's why that just came out of me. It's a realization that something you're chasing might not be quite the vision that you're expecting. Because I mean, this is something as well that's more kind of how my life has shaped. I think seeing the naivety and being young, you kind of do chase a happy ending because that's what society's told us is something worthy of chasing. However, what we're not taught is that there's so much happiness ahead. There's so much sadness too. People die, things end, we lose something, like animals, pets, whatever, you know. There's always a shift in something, but there's beauty in all of it, and I feel like this is where you are growing here to see that. So I'm loving that. This is definitely kind of eye-opening is what I want to say for you, Virgo. Knight of Wands in reverse. So again, you have this Knight energy and being direct. Now this is your kryptonite column, because this is what I see as your kryptonite. So when we think kryptonite, again, we think weakness, and I want you to stop focusing on that, because that's not what this is. This is something that could be hindering your kind of growth, and it's the focus on this. It's focusing on, I don't want to be weak. I want to show my strength. And this feels in the way. So the Knight of Wands in the upright position, it's kind of like heading towards an adventure. I feel like you are already living the adventure. You need to see that. You need to see your life for what it is. It's a journey. It's fun. It's interesting. It's exciting. And as I'm saying that, I feel like some of you are going, my life is so boring. Nothing happens. And yet it is happening, because you're having highs and lows. This is it. This is the life you're living. There's not a when this happens, looking to the future. I feel like if I use my Archangel Michael cards, what's going to come up right now is that card that says, that's like on the verge of my head now. It's like there, I can see the imagery. It's the card that basically says that live in the now, stop looking ahead. It's something about choose to be happy now. There we go. That's the card that would come out. And basically it's saying live in the moment. Stop waiting for something to happen before you will allow yourself that happiness. Like, quoting people that I don't know who I'm quoting, but somebody says that happiness is a choice, right? It is. We can choose to be happiness, because you can choose to see the beauty in the moments. Even the sad moments, there's beauty. It's like when you go to a funeral and you go to the wake afterwards. Everyone is laughing and smiling. They're reminiscing. There's tears, but there's, like, when we remember somebody, for example, in this situation, to show you the happiness and the beauty in this. There's beauty in grief, because there's reminiscence of the good times. You, instead of choosing to remember all the bad, because this is what funerals and wakes do. Like, even those that have the biggest grudges with their loved ones, they grieve for those good moments. The fact that, it was my mum. She meant everything to me, like, even though she couldn't be the strength I needed in those times. I remember this time when we went to a cake shop and we ate cake, and it was the happiest day in memory I have. You remember these things that you would not have remembered if that person hadn't died. And it's remembering the good stuff. Like, humanity is so beautiful that we see the good things even in the most hardest times in our lives, right? Even in death. And I want you to realize that. I live in the moment. Even when it's extremely difficult, even if it's hard for you to face and see, that's what will make you, even if it breaks you first. It's the toadstools, right? Forest Temple, enlightenment. That whole aspect, what I've just spoke to you about, is enlightenment. Enlightenment is not about seeing something positive and fake. There is no just good. You can't have good without bad. And I feel like this is your enlightening journey of discovering this. It is very self. I feel like this epiphany moments that you're going through and realizations, it really is building you into coming into your authentic self. And I think I've said that to you as well, Virgo, throughout this year, authenticity. I feel like you've been wearing masks and armor and things, and this is breaking down. And it comes with enlightenment, realizations. Do we have the Hermit? No, we do not. And I feel like this is where you're at, is that you've been through so much. And actually, I think, Virgo, this is what I mean with be wary of your armor and how you are stubborn. Earth signs, we are the stubbornest signs. Most stubborn signs, whatever. And this is it. This enlightenment feels like dropping that stubborn armor. Say, maybe I'm not doing things right. Maybe I'm not right. I mean, for me to say that as a Taurus, like, maybe I'm not right. That's a big thing, because Tauruses are always right, right? So this is the moments here, is realizing that let go of that ego and see what is. See the beauty in what is. Heart center, love. Love is literally the meaning of all. Love comes in hate. Love comes in love. Love comes in all aspects of our life, right? It's what drives humanity. It really is. Because even in the most deepest of hate, sometimes the thing that created that spark of hate started with love, right? Love is the answer. And I feel like you are discovering this for yourself. The heart chakra on this forest temple enlightenment is what's really shining through for me, for you, Virgo. And I feel like this is a theme for earth signs, specifically Taurus and Virgo together. I feel like we can be in this journey together, literally, of discovery of love. I feel like this has always been my life path, is really realizing what love is and what it means. I studied philosophy in sixth form. I never completed college because that was not my journey. I should have, as an adult now you look back. But these things are part of my journey that's made me have the realizations that I've had and made me who I am. And I remember, I don't know if it was Plato, Aristotle, who my memory is really rubbish with quoting people, and I do apologize for that I cannot quote and give the right person the credit that they deserve, but was that everything stems from love. Now, if you follow, if you watch documentaries on past lives and people who have died, who then come back, the stories are all the same, that when they went, they felt nothing but deep love. That's the first thing they felt in that moment. Like, there's no pain, there was no nothing. What they remember is love. Stories are all similar on the other side, but that is the thing that is the most, is that acceptance, that love. And it's like, even though it's how we explain it is going to be each individual's sense, but it's there. It's that kind of something beyond what we feel, right? And I feel like realizing this really truly can help you see, because this is how it helps me when I get out of my head. I go for my long walks. I went on a long walk yesterday, and it really did put me in this enlightened mode. It's realizing, I don't know, you look at animals that might scare you sometimes. Like, I'm in Australia, so magpies at the moment, it's magpie season, and we have one that every single time I take the kids to school, it's swooping us. It's terrifying. If you have not been for a magpie swoop experience, I hope you don't, because it's not nice. It's been okay, but if I don't wear a hood, which is now getting hot, but I'm wearing a freaking hood just to walk past this one area, you feel like just so vulnerable. But it's realizing the love, the reason behind things. Like, that magpie is only doing that because it has a nest, it has babies. Magpies are very intelligent, and they know, like, specifically to be swooping people, there has to be a reason within that area, right? It's the love of that being is doing what it's doing for a reason, right? I would go into deeper talking about all this stuff, but I probably should get back to your reading. But love seems key here. I've gone on this spiral of love for you. Perhaps that's something you need to look into for your own journey of enlightenment. So if you are in a stage where you are going through healing through mentors or anything, that could be an aspect of yourself you need to face. How love affects you. What's that going to do for you? We have the Page of Swords here. Now, you have the Knight of Swords and the Page, and you also have the 10. So to me, it is reversing through the swords. That reversal is giving me signs of kind of an undoing and unraveling. That's what happens during enlightenment. Loving it, but also this is a journey for you, right? Going through things. Now, I want you to be conscious of your stubbornness and thinking that you are already enlightened. I think sometimes when we have an awakening, we think, oh, I had an awakening, I'm so enlightened, I know everything. You are going to have so many awakenings in your lifetime, because life happens. I was saying this at a dinner on Wednesday. I went out for lunch with some ladies, and it's like, we think that, and being enlightened means that we get into a place where we can deal with anything that comes our way. And like I was saying as an example, it's like we can get so enlightened as much as we want to, where we think we're whole and healed, but life happens around us. What if, and this is why I use an example, and this is in no way a prophecy, and I'm not putting this into the world or the universe. For example, what if Russia decided to send nukes all around the world, right? That is a massive stress that's going to affect every human. No matter, even the most enlightened souls are okay to be hit by that. And what I'm saying by that is, like, your life that's happening to you, if it keeps knocking you back, give yourself a break. See the love in that. Like, this is major. Even if it's not major to everyone else. To you, it was major. Your trauma is your trauma. And even the smallest things can trigger some of us. And this is where that's your enlightenment, where it belongs. You acknowledge something triggered me. Why? Where did that come from? Was it a childhood thing? Has this been affecting you? And it's seeing those cycles. And I feel like this is something you need to realize. It's so stubborn all the way through this, is that you are only enlightened as you are in that moment. And you'll never get beyond that if you do not at least acknowledge that you are not perfect. You are not... You have work to do, Virgo. Definitely. And you need to see that. The wisdom's at your feet, not in your head. It's not above you. It's below you. And that means it's in the now. It comes with being present in your body. And that's something I'm realizing, because I'm all out of my head. I'm all about wisdom and, seeking things beyond myself. And sometimes the most wisest things comes from being present, feeling, living, being in the now. So, food for thought. Death card in reverse. I feel I was about to start talking, but she's giving me something. So I'll show you the imagery and how it is coming up. Unsurety is coming from me. I feel like you need to stop. Again, this is what I mean about being present. I feel like stop looking for answers ahead of you. Stop deciding to do something or being happy or something ahead. Present right now. Something needs your focus. Something needs cutting. Now the Death card is about letting go. In the upright position, it'd be like, this is new beginnings. You're letting go. You're feeling free. But in this position, in reverse, reverse cards can mean literal opposites. But to me, it's like something needs your attention that's within the present. And I keep saying this to you. It's now. Deciding now. Dealing with it now. And it's an acknowledgement, an epiphany. Epiphany is really coming up for you, Virgo, and standing out quite brightly. Something here within your chest. So it's something close to home. Something that you don't want to face because it's something you hold close to you that you don't want to embrace, is what I want to say. You let it hang on you. You let it linger. But it's more of an accessory. It's something you wear. That's the same with the toadstools. It's about carrying things as an armor, something you need to cut ties with, and it very much feels like it could be like a value or something, again, something dear to you, something you hold close. And this is what you're facing right now. This is this changing moment, and that's really coming to you. And this is like, for September for you, this is coming to the surface. This is like facing. I actually think we have Mercury in retrograde. So Mercury in retrograde brings things to the surface that needs to be dealt with, that needs to be communicated in your life. So things that are really being brought to you. I mean, if you're watching me right now, I'm communicating it to you. This needs to be dealt with. You need to be bringing things to the surface. Don't be afraid to get ugly to be pretty. That's what I want to say to you. Because you have Spirit Guardian of Summer. Expansion. You have so much growth coming. It's so big and bright and good and fruitful. And that comes with this work. Because you've had those highs. It's there for you. You've seen it. You know it. And that's what this year is doing for us. It's showing us what can be and what is and what will be. And this is all about fruition for you. Of you growing something in your life. And it's beyond what you think as well. I feel like even in this moment while you're wearing your armor, it's clouded. So even your brightest moments have been clouded by this thing that you wear as an armor. If you drop that armor, allow yourself to fly, like this beautiful yellow bird right there. If you allow yourself to shine bright and be in your authentic form, unapologetically you is what I say to my, like, that I'd like to be, is unapologetically myself. If you choose that, I feel like you are laughing. Basically, good times, brightness, all that you desire. I feel like it will just grow around you, because this is the chain of effects that you are going to create for yourself. And you are this driving force. You have that passion. You're ready. And I feel like this, again, this reading can be that for you, to push you. And that's what I hope and desire for all of you anyway that come to me, is that I help fill you with something that drives you into the right direction for yourselves in your own lives. And this moment really truly feels like, for you, what you're going through right now is monumental epiphanies, realizations. Have you been like, yeah, I don't want to be there. Why am I wearing this as armor? Why? Answer your questions. That's where you'll find the answers. in yourself. Ten of Swords, the hardest times are behind you. So right now you may be feeling the heaviness. This is in the where we're at, the energy we're sitting in, right? So with this spirit guardian of the summer, happiness, bright times, fruition, things flowing and flourishing around us that you are going to attract, the hardest times are behind you. But that's where the answers are. You're in the answers right now, this year. There's a feather that's drawing to me. Normally it's the bird, but it's the feather for me. It's flowing down. I feel like the wisdom is coming to you, in the form of guidance. That's it. In the form of guidance, it's coming to you. That's the wisdom you need. It's what you're seeking. You're reaching out for something that's not there. Be aware of that. And again, this to me is just the stubbornness. If you're trying to hold on to something that's comfortable, it's more comfortable to hold on to something and allow it to be than it is to let it go and see what might be. This is how I feel with the Ten of Swords for you. Even though you've been through the hardest times, that's a comfortable space for you. And again, it's like growing things out of darkness. Because you know you can do that, you're not worried about being in the darkness. And I feel that's why you tend to linger there longer than you should, is what I want to say. Final card. So Six of Swords, journeying. That's what this card gives me, journeying. Now you are the person that can get things moving. Again, I feel like you do choose to linger. This is what it's giving. But this is where you're heading, and it's that option. So you can either carry on lingering for longer, or you can move past this. It comes with reflection. The moon is really standing out for me, the full moon here. Now the full moon really does represent letting go. You have to decide to, and the full strength in this is you. You are the one who can create whatever you desire to create in this moment. And to me, this last card is saying, you get to decide what you bring with you. You are the one who is responsible for your journey during this time. And I just feel like that actually with this saying this, it's... Sorry, I got sidetracked from that thought because this wind is really coming through. I feel like even forces are going to force you to be that as well. Something is really going to drive you to choose, to make those choices. So if you don't, and this is what Mercury Retrograde does, I find. I found out that because I was born on a Wednesday, so if you are born on a Wednesday, this is some wisdom for you as well, that Mercury Retrograde could affect you most, being that Mercury's ruling day is Wednesday, I believe. Check on that because I'm just vaguely remembering. And basically, this is giving me that vibes of Mercury sometimes forces things into your attention. And this is what I'm saying. I feel like it will be forced to your attention, so you cannot not face this. However, how you go about it is on you. And I feel like it comes with that realization of letting go. The moon represents to me, when it's the full moon, is that letting go, is that moving on in its final cycles. This to me really is world changing in your life changing, universal even. Like, I feel like this is the turning point. You've come to the end of this cycle and you are being forced into, like, there's no stopping this. You cannot sit in this armor anymore any longer. And I feel like this really is soul level pulling, because I'm feeling this pull, like wanting to move, wanting to get, and this is that force of that fire spirit. You want this now. And you really can. That's what this is saying for me. And it's letting go, fall, all these leaves on here. All these leaves. It's not coming naturally. It is it's a decision. It's it's kind of like when you allow something that's just going to happen naturally. That's not how this is. This is you actually activating, creating. I cannot think the word. It's not flowing from me, so it's deeper than what I'm thinking. But what I'm saying is this is not something that's just going to happen if you sit down, and you can't sit down. I feel like there's no option in this. Nobody's sitting. Nobody. You know? Even the Queen of Swords, she's sat on a dragon. She's moving. all of these are standing. There's no sitting this one out, Virgo. You have no choice but to face whatever it is that you need to face during September. So thank you so much, Virgo, for being here. Please comment below, like, anything that can indicate that what this means for you, because this does excite me. I'm loving it. So yeah, hopefully all things go well for you, Virgo. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next month.